Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of CashNSport with myself and Simon Mangisa. We are here talking two big sports business topics that have come up in the past week. One is football related, one is rugby related. But before we get into the football and rugby, we'd like to take a little bit of a moment to just look at what happened in the sporting field this past week. We said last week that the Springboks would win. So much for that. Missed a few kicks. Generally didn't play too well, but Premier League, Ronaldo starred for Man United, scored 2 goals. Lukaku scored 2 goals as well for Sanani's team, so she's happy. I'm surprised she's not wearing a Chelsea shirt today, but
No, I thought I should be humble. I thought I should be humble.
oh,
When you're top of the league, you sit pretty. You just keep quietly, just getting the wins in. Just be humble.
just be humble, nah? Hey, must be so nice being humble like that. And yeah, and I mean the Proteas did okay. They're doing okay in Sri Lanka. The sprinters are doing well. And also South African football is back. Chiefs
It
and
is.
Sundowns won
What's new there?
2-0.
Yes, I'm a Chiefs fan through and
Yeah,
through, but I don't even like. You must emotionally disinvest your heart from
yeah,
Chiefs
yeah.
and just watch as a neutral because
Hey,
Chiefs
Winzima
is a
guys.
hater.
Winzima,
Yo,
But hey, Baxter,
that's
Baxter, I won't lie. Baxter, he's got the team playing at least better than what they were. But then again, they bought a whole bunch of new players. So what can
Yeah,
you
but
say?
Nebs, the scoreboard doesn't say played well.
The
No,
scoreboard
it's
says
not
you
no
lost
effect.
2-0.
Exactly. 2-0 doesn't say played well, played okay. No,
Facts
no.
only. Facts only. But yeah,
Uh-uh.
as I said at the top of the show, this week we wanted to get into the real meat and drink and start giving you guys some sports business news. Um, and our insights into that sports business news. The first thing that I wanted to talk about this week is this issue around the Football World Cup every 2 years. It's
Yeah.
not a new concept. It's been around for quite some time, but now it's really gaining traction. It's getting a lot of attention, and we wanted to dive into what the reasons would be for someone to want to have a World Cup every 2 years. So let's get into it. So there's two parts to this World Cup issue. Let's talk first and foremost about access and numbers of nations that can actually go to the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Previously, generally the World Cup is won by tier one nations. Apart from let's
Yep.
say Uruguay winning it back in the day. Generally, it's Italy, Brazil. I mean, England, which is a top tier nation, has only won the World Cup once in 1966. Um, you know, it's usually Italy, Brazil, France, and they kind of
Germany. Yeah.
Germany, and they kind of rotate the World Cup amongst those. So really speaking, is this matter of sending the World Cup around to other nations really a thing, or is it a more of a money thing? What do you think, Sans?
So first and foremost, it's definitely a money thing. This is
Yeah,
outright money play.
yeah,
FIFA looking at football as a whole, going, what can we do to add more revenue to the bottom line?
yeah,
For me, it's not about exposing the game. Yes, they feel like they've got a responsibility, but what
yeah,
they then will do is have like these tier one qualifying tournaments. Let's say, okay, tier two, tier three, that
yeah,
no one knows about at grassroots at South America, where it's not Argentina or Brazil. It's like these other random teams. They'll have
yeah,
those teams, and no one's gonna watch those. No one's gonna watch that. Like,
yeah,
let's be serious. They'll have them so that they have them on the books. They'll say we had those. We people have qualified from all the way from the bottom up.
yeah,
That's what they'll spin the story to us.
yeah,
But this is definitely money play. It's
yeah,
um, they realizing, unlike cricket, you can't add a shorter format.
yeah,
Unlike cricket, you can't add an India Premier League. So they're
yeah,
going, how can, as a sport, do we generate more revenue? We've
yeah,
exhausted every single Champions League,
yeah,
Club World Cup, all those kind of tournaments are exhausted. So what does that leave you? It leaves you with the biggest one to say, let's dilute it and have it
yeah,
2 years.
Yeah.
And it is a dilution. It's a dilution on a lot of aspects, but
Yeah.
you can understand why they want to do that. You host it every 2 years, you get more money every 2 years.
Well, Arsene Wenger says, well, as a footballer, if you have the opportunity to only go to a World Cup once, your career is short, right? It's maybe 8 to 10 years at the highest level. You've only got 2 opportunities in your career generally to be able to go to a World Cup, unless you're like a Cafu and get to go to like 4 World Cups because you've got that much longevity. So from a footballer's perspective, your opportunities of going to the World Cup are a lot more because it's every 2, right? But then also
no, yeah.
I listen.
But Wenger is now employed by.
Yes. He works for FIFA.
Exactly. If he was Arsenal coach, he wouldn't want this. Let's be serious. He wouldn't want this. He said, but that's the prestige of it. You get one shot, like on Olympic Games, once every 4 years. You may get injured in one, go to another, miss one, go to another, and not go at all sometimes. It is what it is. That's why there's so much prestige to it. That's why we tune in every 4 years. I don't want to tune in every 2 years.
Yeah.
Like it's that, but also, you know what, Wenger? Kudos to you. Wear your hat, bro. Now you're working for FIFA. You wear that hat with pride, because if you were a manager at any other football club, you would not be saying this.
Well, okay, okay, cool. I hear you on that argument, and I think that the numbers generally back it up, right? There've been 188 federations that were brought in to vote on this matter. Of those, right, only 73 of them, 79, have ever qualified for the World Cup. That's 188. Of 188, only 79 have ever qualified to go to a World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? Of those, only 58 have ever been to a World Cup more than once, right? And of the 2 most populous nations in the world, India, for one, has never been to a World Cup. China's only ever been to a World Cup once, right? So in terms of population and so on, what you're going to end up having, my English data bundles tonight are, what you're going to end up having is a situation where you have a tier 1, sort of like a super league, where the bottom tier nations play against each other to qualify.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple more of them will make it to the group stages of the World Cup, and then they'll get a caning at the group stages, get knocked out, and then the rest of the World Cup just goes on as normal anyway. So there's no real, for me, it dilutes as you said, fine, it'll get more teams saying, yes, we'll qualified for the World Cup, etc., big spectacle, maybe possible, but for me, I think the numbers in terms of the big revenue generators is where the game is at. FIFA makes their money generally through, putting,
So these things are interesting now, because one, I've always maintained that in any federations and unions and voting, you'll always get the voting rights that from nations that it doesn't affect them. Like in Uzbekistan, that is 100, and yes, it's one of the 188 federations, but they've never won a World Cup. They're never going to qualify for a World Cup, but they get to vote. I've always questioned those votes, people voting in things that don't directly affect them, but we have to be a global game in every sport. It's open. That's one. 2, are the sponsors going to have appetite for bigger budgets over a 4-year cycle, right? As a direct FIFA partner, I was partnering with FIFA on a 4-year cycle. So I was putting in money, but knowing that my bigger part comes in World Cup here. That's FIFA partner, not now country partner that puts on the World Cup. So you got your FIFA partners who are direct partners with FIFA, and then you get your local partners who help put on the World Cup. So if I'm a FIFA partner, that's going to need more budget. So my sponsorship money, bottom line, must grow. If I'm a Coke and I'm with FIFA, if I'm a Budweiser, I'm with FIFA, that money is going to have to increase, because now I'm going in every 2 years, right? Now the countries that you're asking to host these things every 2 years need to be ready. I need to be focusing on a World Cup every single 2 years. Do FIFA, even them, do they have the strategic power to go in, or have teams that go in to countries every 2 years to help them? because now you must remember, like with anything, FIFA delegation gets to South Africa, they assist us to put on the spectacle. It's big, it's huge. They look at feasibility, they look at what's the sustainability of this thing. There's huge. They look at the models after where the money is going to come from. That we lobby sponsors here, we lobby government and plans afterwards, so we don't have white elephants that we have here. And for me, what's happened in Brazil, they hosted a World Cup and the Olympic Games back to back, and look where that left them. So for sure, federations are going to say, let's do this. Will the governments have appetite to do this? And then what's going to happen? The bigger nations is going to go back to always the people have money. So it's going to go back to Europe, and that's all America. America might need to have an appetite to host them. But what ends up happening to these tournaments is that, I know from hockey, is that these pro leagues, everything, what happens when you can't start hosting them, the bigger federations or nations share them. So you'll have a Belgium and a Holland because it's an hour apart drive. And then you start sharing host nations. That's the only way you're going to. But there's money to be made in hospitality, licensing, revenue, TV rights, all those things. But there's the other side of it, is player welfare as well.
And I think that FIFA's real end game is here is in terms of maximizing revenue, right? If you have because in terms of FIFA's revenue for 2018 FIFA generated more than 4.6 billion in revenue. Of that 4.6 billion, 55% was made from broadcast rights. And the broadcast rights is where the money really, really is at. The sponsors I see, because they have the, you have the periods during which you cover, but the broadcast rights with all of the people watching all over the world, because it's such a big spectacle, is where the real money is at. Now, do they expect that people are going to want to tune in every 2 years? I highly doubt if that strategy
is SuperSport going to pay that money over? Is SuperSport going to
every
pay
2
that
years
money over 2 years? Exactly.
I mean, it's I highly doubt that's going to happen.
It must be a buy-in it must be a buy-in from everyone. If they want to do it, they must have done their homework with sponsors, with broadcasters.
And I would not be teams. I wouldn't be overly surprised if there's some outside money that we don't know about that could possibly come into this and assist, because I don't see personally how the likes of SuperSport and so on, unless you now open up the pool to many more broadcasters and allow for the sharing of and even then, you have broadcast lotteries all over the place, and allow for broadcasters to sort of, I mean, already they lobby for and they fight for these rights anyway. So it's not really a matter of whether they exist or whether they're willing to put the money down. It's just the appetite to do it every 2 years instead of every 4. That's a lot of money to put down, and I just don't see how you could then convince the likes of Sky and them to pay for sort of a diluted product every 2 years instead of a premium product every 4.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. So I think we're going to see where the players, the players have got a voice now. And I think more than ever, they need to use it. They need to use it with their countries. They need to use it vocally and be heard, because without them, this thing doesn't go on. So,
and the players are the prime product of this whole situation. If you're going to have players playing 50% more games in a season just for an additional World Cup, and putting themselves at risk of injury and so on, I just don't see it. Personally, I don't see it, but it remains to be seen.
It's got to make sense to them as well. Because if you just look at something like the NBA season had to carry on in the bubble last year because the players understood that they had to make money as well. But it's got to make financial sense to the players. Yes, there's the well-being part of it, but if the players are told this will increase their bottom lines as well, and sponsorship deals, appearances, they'll go for it. But if it's same old cuts, no new cuts, no share in the revenue pie from FIFA, they, what's the incentive?
Yeah, true. But anyway, let's switch sporting codes to another sporting code with a with a potential tournament sort of setup as well. Rugby is looking at a potential tournament, which personally I think could definitely work. But let's get into Rugby 12's and what exactly that is about. It's called the World 12's tournament. It's earmarked to be early next year. The concept is 12 players instead of 15, so it's cut down from 15 to 12. Also, the amount of time is shorter. So you would have 15-minute halves instead of having the traditional 40-minute halves. So the games are shorter as well. But you would then have sort of like a lottery system that they have in the IPL, where they're big, a certain number of teams bid for the very best tier 1 and tier 2 players around the world. They come together,
correct,
and these teams play against each other in a short mini tournament type of situation. And yeah, I mean, rugby doesn't have anything like this. You've got Super Rugby, which is just down here in the Southern Hemisphere, which is South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. And even that has ended because the United Rugby Championship is going to start happening between North and South. In the North, you've got something like the Guinness Pro 14, etc., etc. But then again, 14. You never have New Zealand players in there. You never have Australian players in there. So this whole situation of now trying to get the best of the best players out of their clubs into a mini sort of, Champions League type situation, I think it could be great. I think it could be fantastic for the game of rugby, especially also because you shorten it, you make it quicker.
Yeah, and we know that data has told us and reports that Nielsen does and other research industries that younger generation are consuming different formats. They're consuming different durations of sports. 80-minute rugby game is quite long with all the stoppages as well. It's quite long. So make it shorter, make it compact, back-to-back weekends, make the bid live, the best of the best players. And also this has also created an environment where these guys, yes, you could find them in different change rooms playing against each other. For instance, Saracens, Toulon, just picking on to the Japanese Tigers, the change rooms that have got a lot of foreign
players
influence. But at the same time, now you do something like this, it just opens up the game, opens up the players to each other. It's a new exciting format, as long as they schedule it in a nice time, so that these guys aren't playing rugby January to December. Make sure they get a break, they're fresh, schedule it over 6 to 8 weeks over a period in, I think they said August, September-ish. And then it should work. This is one of the formats where I'm not skeptical about. I'm excited actually to see the best of the best rugby players play with each other.
Yeah, and you've never seen it. It's never really happened. You only ever see this during World Cup time. But I like the fact that the format is shorter. I think also the fact that they removed, they made it with less players, so that you kind of have a sevens type of setup, but in terms of guys having to run into space and create space, but without the boredom sometimes that you get with 15s, like for instance, where guys just kick the whole time. So there's a little bit more space available on the field. It will make for more attacking rugby, more tries. And I think I like the rules. I mean, one of the rules is that, you don't get so many scrum resets. I mean, we had so many scrums in the game against Australia this past weekend, and you're just thinking, how much time does that take up? So if you have one scrum reset, the next one is a penalty. You just keep it moving. And we've seen the success of the HSBC sevens circuit and how really well that's done. I think doing this for the big boys and around the world, and getting the likes of Ricky Mwanga playing against Farrell, against, all in the same team. Oh man, it could make for some explosive rugby. And I think that could be brilliant. It could be brilliant.
Yeah. Right mix of players, right broadcast deals, sponsors. It could be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be fantastic, and it does seem to be backed by some venture capitalists. We don't know who the funders are yet, or what exactly the money looks like, and we'll definitely get back into that once we have the numbers, what these players are going to earn, what the lotteries pools are going to look like, because it's a lot of money. These players make a lot of money from these lotteries. I mean, KG Rabada and them. Anuk Nokia, if I'm not mistaken, went for $1 million at some point in the IPL auction. So it's a lot of money that these players earn from these auctions, and they could make a lot of players really rich overnight.
Cash dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, let's wrap it up there for the night. Nice and short, a little bit of sport at the beginning. Two main things to look out for: the vote for FIFA and the World Cup, happening every 2 years, is very soon. We'll find that out probably before the end of this month. We should know whether that's going to happen or not. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of pushback from fans and players. And then the Rugby 12's, I can't wait for this one. It's going to be exciting. It's really going to be exciting. But yeah, that's us for a short and sharp episode of Cash and Sport. As always, comment, like, subscribe, drop us a comment if you've got any questions or requests. And yeah, catch us on Twitter, Cash and Sport, @Sanani Mangisa. We'll see you guys again next week with another sports business topic to discuss. Signing out. Cheers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.